It's just glorified gambling. I feel like any of these vehicles, you can make money online. So I'm here with my pal, Christopher Wilson, and today we're going to have a conversation regarding what is the best way to make money online and have a little discussion on the comparisons between trading, which is what Chris does, and high ticket closing, which is what myself does. So how long have you been trading in total for, Chris?
I've been trading now for 3 years. It's been an emotional roller coaster from start to now. Many years ahead, but I love it. I love trading. I think it's once you've got a system in place and once you've got a strategy or a community, then you can't go wrong. You can join communities like what I've got. You can do it the hard way like what I've done originally, but with communities you can fast track it and you can sort of rely on people who've already done the hard work like myself, went through the losses, went through the psychology, went through all the trials and tribulations.
And what Chris says there regarding going about it the better way rather than going about it on your own and getting everything wrong like what a lot of people may do. It's a big comparison to sales as well. A lot of people will say, oh, well, do I need a mentor? Can I not just learn on YouTube or anything like that? And of course, you can go and watch a lot of YouTube videos. It might take you 1, 2, 3 years. And in that time, by the time you've watched all those YouTube videos, not had a full-on 12-week enhancement like journey to fucking get to the position that you want to be in, you're going to waste a lot of time and you're going to waste a lot of money in the process as well. Whereas
9 times out of 10 as well, that all the information that you are going to learn in that time is then actually old hat.
Exactly.
It's outdated information.
And you're going to get loads of contrasting information as well. The best way to go about sales, in my opinion, is obviously learn off a couple of different mentors, but you want to pick a structure and actually go for that structure. Yeah. Obviously, you don't want to stick to a structure. The main thing with sales is obviously having a conversation, actually listening, and not just following a script. So I'm not saying to follow a structure, a set structure, a script, but you want to learn a certain way, and that's why it's so important to get a mentor, in my opinion. So one thing I wanted to touch on, well, we've got a few things that we'll bring up and have a little debate regarding. I've heard a lot of people say, I've heard you say actually, that being a high ticket closer is a job. Why is it that you say that?
Because if you book 10 hours worth of back-to-back calls, then you may as well just go and get a job. It is a job.
Okay, so when you say that, a big if you book 10 hours of calls, right? Fair enough. At the beginning, when you first get into closing, it's likely you want to get the reps in, take as many calls as you want so you can make as much money in that time. However, once you've been in the space for a few months and you've found a good offer where you can take 2, 3, 4 calls a day and make more than what you did at the start, then it's not a job whatsoever, and it's obviously fully remote as well. So for me, I've been in the space for 4 months and I invested in a mentor in September, left my job in the end of September, and then last month made 5 figures, and that was all from taking around 3 to 4 calls a day, and these calls were taken as between 30 and 45 minutes. So if you add it up, I wasn't working much more than 4 or 5 hours a day and living in the south of Spain as well. So that's a big thing. You can say it's a job, but realistically, if you had a job, could you live in Marbella? Could you live in Thailand? Could you live in Dubai? Could you live in any of these places and live that lifestyle whilst working for 4 or 5 hours a day?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, 100% you could. There's lots of people I know here who are Dutch, Swedish, English, who actually have remote jobs from England and live here.
Right. And they're tied to work when
certain types of hours, yeah.
So for me, let's say today, for example, yesterday we decided we're going to come here, nice villa, pool. I just decided to shut my calendar. I work when I want. I can open my calendar when I want. Obviously, I'm on an offer. I work for an offer.
Yes.
But realistically, I take calls when I want. I don't get paid for certain hours. I'm not limited to £20 an hour, £30 an hour. I work when I want, and it's down to me how much money I make. I'm completely self-employed. If I don't go to work all week, I'll not get paid.
Correct.
If I don't perform at work, I don't get paid. So it's the same as any sort of
course.
Business model that you would say.
I totally agree. And listen, high ticket sales is definitely a great place to start. Look at yourself in 4 months. You've went from laying bricks on a site to now living in Marbella. So fair play to you, well done.
Appreciate it. And that's another thing we'll talk about. Obviously, you say that it is a start. And I don't fully disagree with you saying that it's a start, because what I see is, like, you might say, oh, like in a few years, I'll not still be doing what I'm doing now. And I don't disagree with that. I fully believe that high ticket closing is a perfect gateway to starting an online business, a modern day online business, because in the past, starting businesses, like the way our families would have done it, is maybe he's working on a building site, learning a trade, and then building that business up from that construction business. And that's obviously a way to make money. In modern day, the amount of businesses that there is, which are high ticket businesses, which are selling information online, is massive. So I don't fully believe that I will be still closing in a few years. I want to be in a position where start my own online business, sell my own high ticket information and making money that way. So, and sales is such a good thing to learn, because if you look at it, everything in the world in terms of making money, apart from like your services, like police and shit like that, it's all sales. You're always either selling yourself. So to learn the trade in terms of sales is a perfect gateway. If you wanted to, let's say you didn't want to, because I certainly would never ever work a job again in my life. But let's say you wanted to make some quick money while you were young. You could learn high ticket sales, learn how to sell, and then you've got the skill set to work for any multi-million pound company in the world if you wanted to.
I think it's a beautiful business to get into. I cannot disagree with you. I think it's skills that you'll learn that you'll use the rest of your life in every aspect, or any type of business you have, any type of job you may have in the future. I think you'll carry on them skills forever. But learning sales over learning trading, trading's fully remote. You can trade 24 hours a day, 5 days a week if you want. And also, there's no ceiling on income. And in terms of risk to reward, you risk your time for zero reward, where in trading, you're guaranteed a win or a loss. So I believe that, personally, for me.
What do you exactly mean by we risk our time for no?
If you have back-to-back calls for 10 hours, you may not close any.
And that's down to me, though.
Correct.
That's, like, I personally like that. If it was because this is what takes it away from being a 9-to-5 job, the comfortability of a 9-to-5 job. You can go to work all day, not do anything, stay in the toilet all day if you want, like doing loads of toilet trips. You're still gonna get paid the same at the end of the day. Whereas for me, it's down to me. It's self-improvement. This is a big thing when it comes to sales. It's self-improvement with a dollar sign at the end of it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't like. I like the fact that it's down to me how much money I make. It takes it away from the comfortability side of things. So it's like I've got to improve, and I've got to improve myself every day in order to make more and more money.
Yeah. For me, I've personally never had a job in my life, ever. Never, ever, ever been employed. So for me...
The thing, I wanted to just ask something, the thing with trading, like, I think it's a double-edged sword, like, in comparison to sales, because I think trading's so much better, because you make your money and you dip, you get out, there's no fulfillment. Once you've done it, it's done. When you're talking about setting up a business, like with what I'm doing now with the info stuff, it's like, yeah, I close a deal for 5k, but then I've got that guy for the next 3 months that I've actually got to help. Like, I think sales teaches you a better skill set that's going to be more valuable to you as a person. But trading is like when you can crack that, that's the ultimate lifestyle.
Ultimate fuck you. Ultimate fuck you. And I tell you, the only thing that you have to get your head around in trading, once you've got your strategy, once you're profitable, once you're making money, the only other thing you've got to do to level up is risk more. But then you've got to have that risk appetite to understand, I used to risk 1,000 on a trade, but now I'm risking 10. That's heavy.
Yeah.
That's the... If you're getting 1 to 3s and you might have started off risking £1,000 a trade, and you catch them 1 to 3s and you're thinking this is beautiful, like but to get to that next step, if you want to start doing high tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands a month, then you're going to have to step it up. So you have to step your risk up, and that's the bit of where you've got to sort of show what you're made of in terms of trading.
I think it's interesting. I think like I'll go in a sec, but with trading, it takes money to make money. The good thing about sales and like for young people is, yeah, you can invest a couple grand into a sales mentor or something, but then you can literally print money with the words that you speak without spending any, which is like the most beautiful thing about it.
Yeah.
So I think for me, like my plan is to smash high ticket, make a shit ton of money, and then learn trading as well. So when I've got my big pile of money, I'm just going to triple it, 10x it with that. I think that's where the big money's at.
I don't fully disagree with that. We've talked a lot about the fact that being a high ticket closer is almost a gateway to something else, and you can go many different ways. You can use that big lump of money that you've made in that few years from the closing to go into trading, or you can obviously go into starting your own online business. And I know what you said before regarding obviously the fulfillment side of things. However, if you can create a brilliant online business where you don't necessarily need to do that much fulfillment. If you get your own team, then there's definitely good ways that you can still have the lifestyle that you want.
There's always customer care though, no matter which way you look at it. There's always customer care. So my background's businesses, so staff members, renting business premises, paying the business rates, paying your insurances, your monthly bills, everything that's included in that when I first come into trading. And I thought, so I can make thousands of pounds a month, uncapped, unlimited. I've got no staff, I've got no rent, I've got no bills, there's nothing, literally nothing in terms of like outgoings. My only outgoing was something like, two TradeZilla, which shows you all your data in terms of your trades, your win rate, where you entered, where you exited the trade, etc., etc. And you can review it and journal it. $50 a month. Trading View, 20 quid a month. So for literally like 70 quid a month for thereabouts. That was my only outgoings. Going from business premises to that were thousands of pounds a month. Employers' liability, public liability, traders' policies, everything included, going from that to this. And I believe that is similar to you going from maybe working 500 quid a week on a building site to then coming to this where some days you're making 1,200 a day, whatever you make. To you, that'll be like, I'm the man that's discovered fire. This is unbelievable. Like for myself, who I've never been employed before, I've never had that, so it's bad to say, but I've never had that respect for money. Like I've worked for like £10 an hour to get it because I've never been that guy. And it's a disadvantage to myself personally because a lot of people will look at certain things and think, expensive, I'm not buying that. Where I'll look at it and think, oh, that's fine. And it's not because of the amount of money I have, it's just because I know how easily I can attain more money. So I just think, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, so you're talking about like the abundance mindset there, basically, because that's something that I've had to work on a lot in terms of living from abundance rather than scarcity, which is something that we'll learn a lot when it comes to trades for you, when it comes to investing in mentors for us or investing in the next mentor. You've got to look at it through abundance. You can't look like I'm losing $5,000 for investing in him. You've got to look at it as I'm investing $5,000, but realistically next month I'm going to make $5,000 in a day. I'm going to make 20 grand in the month. So,
well, one thing that not a lot of people know about me, I've actually spent tens of thousands of pounds on personal development. Nobody actually knows that about me. I'm not an educated man. I didn't really do much school, and I left school pretty young. So as the years have went on, different sectors and different things, obviously a lump of that money was in trading mentors, but then also other industries as well.
like what?
I didn't really want to say, but property, to tell you the truth.
Property.
I've done fortunes in property.
So, in my opinion, being a high-ticket closer is the fastest way to earning 10k a month online. And I strongly believe that. Based off my own experiences, what is your opinion on that?
I believe it's one of the fastest ways. And one of the arguments I'll give for that is there's a lady who's a part of our community. She deposited £300 into her trading account. Listen, this is a unicorn moment. I'm not saying that this is everybody, because it's not. She deposited in January, £300 into her trading account, and she turned it 12.5 grand in 4 weeks. Listen, that is a unicorn moment. That, by the way, like God's honest truth, it is. I've got evidence. So, fucking wish it was me with 30 grand. Do you know what I mean? It's the first thing I thought.
I've seen it though. A couple of my pals from back home.
So that's following our signals, you know.
Yeah.
That's following our signals, and even I thought, what? How? Even I was
so
like,
is that not normal though? Is that not normal to?
Not really. Not start with 300 quid and turn it into 12.5 grand. Is it? Fuck, that's honestly, look. And that's just followed our signals and that, but my God, ballistic. I don't know how she's done it, but she's done it. I've got the fucking evidence on my phone. I could dig it out if you...
For your signals that you give out, what's the actual win rate? Because I know there's like different stop losses that you can hit as well, and how much of a lot size you want to put on. What's the typical win rate?
90%.
Yeah. So if you catch every single trade.
We've done a week before Christmas, so a few weeks ago we've done a 100% week. Never had a losing trade all week.
Sick. So you've just got to make sure you hit all of the trades, or so you've got to be. Is it up on the hours when it starts?
So the best way for people in our community to start with the smallest lot size you can put on, which is 0.01. On £1,000 account, it's typically about £5 risk per trade, thereabouts. So if there's 5 TPs, they can place 5 entries, TP1 in the stop loss, the second trade, TP2 in a stop loss, TP3 and so on all the way to TP5. Once TP1 gets taken, move all your other entries to break even. So if it does reverse, it takes them out. But then if it does hit TP5, then they've hit TP1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and they haven't missed a take profit.
Yeah.
It's called layering. That's the best way for people.
It's all gibberish to me, to be honest. I'm not clued up on the trading side of things at all, which is obviously good for you to educate us a bit on it, because it's not something that I would ever rule out getting into. Obviously, getting into high ticket closings changed my life. However, like you say, it can just be a gateway to invest money in the future, and trading is certainly a good vehicle for that. Do you know, when it comes to trading, what I've heard a lot of people say, some people have actually been in trading themselves and then got out of it, and a lot of people who have something to say about it is that it's just glorified gambling. Do you believe it is or not?
No. A lot of people say that it is glorified gambling, but one thing that I learned when I first come into trading, which I did think was pretty much a load of shit, but I found out to be very true, was the psychological aspect of it. It's horrendous. When I first started learning about trading, I've already invested in a couple of mentors at this point. All have spoke about psychology. So I'm thinking this is just something that people will put the blame on to why people aren't getting the results they want, to keep you where they are, so you keep, you stay with their community, etc. I was wrong. Psychology is a huge aspect, because you will doubt yourself, you will hesitate, you will have a A+ setup, and you will still sit and think, what happens if I'm wrong? If you're on a losing streak and you've lost 6, 7 trades off the belt, how confident are you going to be placing that 8? You're going to be a broken man by that point. But then if you place that 8th trade and think, okay, I'm not going to hesitate, then you place it. You've got all your confluences, you've got lower time frame confirmations. You do enter that trade, then that one's a loss. How are you going to feel placing that next one? You're going to be worse than you were beforehand. So the aspect of it being gambling, a lot of the time I believe that the gambling mindset comes off the back of other people's losses. So if you've took a loss and you're down 2k for the day, you should really walk away and go, tomorrow's a new day, the markets are going nowhere, we can reset and go again tomorrow. A lot of people don't do that.
Yeah, and what I take from that is, I feel like any of these vehicles, you can make money online. Like if you look at like high ticket sales, appointment setting, or which is involved in high ticket sales, obviously trading, any of these other business models like e-com or anything like that, people will say that there's negative sides to them, but that's because they haven't succeeded in them.
Correct.
So it's down to the person, it's not actually down to the vehicle.
Yes, I totally agree.
So I haven't got the knowledge on trading. Obviously, you've given us basic knowledge on it. However, realistically, any of these vehicles can make money online. You just need to pick one and make it work. One thing I picked up on there as well is when it comes to obviously the hesitation, the fear about taking that next thing, that's something that we talk about loads when it comes to sales. Just taking that step, because it's not really about the vehicle. It's not really about what you're doing. It's just about actually not letting the fear control you.
Yeah.
In certain situations, when it comes to investing in your first mentor, when it comes to making a trade, or taking calls, or just taking that next step in your career. It's all about not letting the fear control you, because too many people let the fear control them, especially in the UK.
Yeah, 100%. Everyone's worried about each other's judgment and things like this.
For sure.
One thing I will say that is a similarity between trading and high ticket sales is when you start to see success and you start perfecting that craft and you understand, for me personally, what strategy you're trading, what your confluences are, where you should be taking your profits, and got to the end of it, you've actually spent months working on yourself and actually looking at the man who's staring back at themselves in the mirror. Because like we touched on about the psychology of trading, of the hesitation, of revenge trading and losing your head when you've took a few losses, you have to be able to walk away from that situation. But no, what I was trying to basically say was, you would have done a lot of self-reflecting in the man you're becoming now because of the high ticket sales, and it's the same with trading. You do a lot of self-reflecting, you do a lot of self-auditing. the success I'll have on the chart is a reflection of the man I am inside, and it's vice versa with you and your calls. I believe
100%.
that the success you will have is because of the work you've done on yourself.
100%.
And the people where it doesn't work is because they've done no work on themselves, they've done no work to actually better themselves, to make better life choices, to actually invest time in themselves, to make sure that the mistakes they make and they're not going to make them again. But then when they're left with a sour taste in their mouth, they'll walk away and say, trading's gambling, high ticket sales, load of shit.
100%.
Where it's not really, it's because, like we touched on before, you cannot change a person unless they're willing to change themselves. So, because...
What I will add to that is, like, I fully agree with it, because we talk about it a lot. Obviously, sales is just mindset, so do a lot of work on the mindset side of things. And when it comes to what you said there, basically, to cut the story short, your external is the reflection of your internal.
I like that.
So you've got to become the version of the person that you want to become before the results show.
Yeah.
So you become that man, you do that work on yourself, you become the version of yourself who earns 20k a month, and then you'll earn 20k a month. This is what a lot of people get wrong. They feel like, oh, I need to earn 10k a month, and then I'll move to Marbella. Then I'll start becoming the version of myself that I want to become. No, you need to become that version of yourself, start acting in alignment with that version of yourself,
I agree.
taking every single action along the way like that version of yourself. And then the results will show.
100%.
It's exactly what I did. When I come out of Marbella at the beginning of, like, the end of last year, I was skint. I had no lowie. I sold my car to come. I sold my car because I didn't need a car, because I knew I was going to be abroad. However, I didn't have much money at all. And then I became the version of myself who was a 10k a month closer, who did earn that money. And then I earned 5 figures last month, and obviously changed my life, really, because now I'm going to continue to do that. So it's been a mad little change for me, but that is a big thing with the similarities of trading and sales. Obviously, it's a case that it doesn't, like I said before, it doesn't matter what vehicle you choose.
No.
It's just about having that identity shift and making that one thing work.
I think in life it's about the journey, not the destination. But when it comes to making money, it's about the destination and not so much about the journey.
Aye. 100%. Because what actually matters more to you? Obviously, people can weigh up their options and see what's going to be...
End result.
Yeah, people's going to weigh up their options and see what's suited more to them. If I couldn't have seen myself doing trading, I could have made it work if I really wanted to. Realistically, I saw myself doing this, and you've just got to weigh up your options, see what's going to work better for you, and make that thing work.
I think there's different levels of trading. If trading was on a spectrum, there's so many different levels. There's institutional traders, there's retail traders, and there's traders that are in communities like what I've got as well, where we've got multiple single mothers who literally follow our signals before they go and drop the kids off to school. They're sending results every day to the channel. I've made, now what it is, you've just got us extra 100 likes there.
So what we'll talk about is the barrier for entry and the ceiling for both. I feel like we both know that the ceiling for trading is higher than high ticket sales. Obviously, there's different aspects that there's lots of doors that open from you getting into sales, from you learning the trade of sales. However, the actual sole business model trading, the ceiling is a lot higher.
Huge.
What's your opinion on the barrier for entry?
I believe the barrier for entry on trading is quite low, and the barrier for entry on high ticket sales is quite high, because I believe the barrier for entry in trading is very low, but the barrier for entry in high ticket sales is quite high due to the cost of mentorships. Also, with high ticket sales, if you are not on an offer, then you're not making anything. Where in trading, once you've got that skill, or once you're a part of that community, you're printing money. I'm
going to disagree with that, because bear in mind, going off my own personal situation, I knew that I never had full belief in myself that I could do anything online, and then I've managed to make 5 figures within a few months. And there's different ways that you can get into high ticket sales. You can either do appointment setting, which the mentorship for appointment setting, you can get one for very, very affordable. Obviously with closing, you can make that affordable as well, depending on the mentorship you go for. But now for me, I don't feel like the barrier for entry for closing is high at all. I've seen closers who, for myself for example, I went from working on a building site, never even sent an email, never had anything to do with business or anything like that, never had a thought about business for most of my life, and ended up making 5 figures within 3 or 4 months of being in the space.
It's unbelievable.
And obviously that's a huge change for me, and I don't feel like I've ever been the type of person who should be in sales. Now I feel like I am because I've become that version of myself. But there's a very low barrier for entry for sales, especially for appointment setting. I wouldn't necessarily recommend anyone getting appointment setting. In my opinion, closing is the move. Obviously, you can still make money from appointment setting. The barrier for entry for appointment setting is low. Literally, I would rather do appointment setting than go back to work on a 9 to 5. But realistically, anyone can do it. All you need to do is message people on Instagram and pretend to be someone else. The barrier for entry for setting is massively low. But realistically, for closing, it's not very high. I've seen people go from absolutely nothing to earn serious money, maybe myself one, and the cost for mentorship is realistically pennies compared to the life change and the actual life the money that you're going to make and the life that you're going to have after a matter of months, as long as you put in the work.
In comparison to trading, though, I believe that I think the barrier for entry in trading is a lot lower compared to high ticket sales. Depending on the mentorship, don't get me wrong, I paid thousands of pounds for a trading mentor, had a 6-month mentorship, unbelievable, generally was, and I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't pay that money. So I am a big believer in investing in yourself. One thing we didn't actually touch on before with the high ticket sales is I thought I would just get that far right.
So when it comes to, you've obviously invested a lot of money into mentorships for yourself.
Yeah.
And obviously when it comes to high ticket sales, you're going to invest in a mentorship in order to make the money from that.
Yes.
In order to get the best for yourself, realistically. So are we both in agreement that actually investing into yourself and investing into a mentor,
very important,
no matter what it is very important?
One thing I will say is invest in the correct mentor.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of mentors out there that you're giving your money away for free. And I'm sure there'll be people in your industry as well as mine and I'm sure there's a lot of people in your industry as well as mine that aren't the best mentors. Let's just leave it at that.
100%. Of course, there is people who aren't the best mentors. There's a lot of people who get into the high ticket sales space and then lie about results, or sometimes not necessarily lie about results, but they're lying about how people are actually making that money. So it is important to get the right mentor. In my opinion, one thing that you touched on before regarding getting something wrong is that obviously if you get like 7 trades wrong and then you're going to bottle the 8th one when the 8th one's going to be the winner. It's a big part of high ticket sales as well, making sure that you're not treating failure like it's a bad thing. You're using failure as a result, because if someone told you that on the other side of 9 failures was a win, how quick would you be wanting to fail?
Of course. There's a guy who was talking about getting 25 no's before he got a yes. Have you ever seen that video?
I don't believe I
An
have.
American guy is talking about asking 25 girls out, and after 25 no's, you'll get a yes.
Aye. And obviously, you're right in what you're saying regarding getting a mentor, like getting the right mentor, because ideally you don't want to be wasting time. Obviously, in my opinion, just get a mentor. Obviously, get in contact with someone who
you're paying
done
for
well.
it, but it's a cheat code, because a mentor can save you years of the mistakes they've made.
100%.
And you can learn from their mistakes. You've got someone to lean on. For me personally, obviously I don't do mentorships, but this is just my reflection on me being a customer of mentorships. You've got somebody to lean on. You've got somebody to ask questions to. You've got someone that's going to give you time in education and advice on not making the same mistakes they made to get into their position. For you investing in that person is because you want to be in the position that that person's in, which inevitably you will be if you listen and do what you're told.
100%. And investing in a mentor for me changed my life. And in my opinion, the best thing anyone can do at a young age is invest in a mentor. And obviously you want to invest in a good one. So if anyone is struggling to get a good one, you know where to come. However, it doesn't matter what mentorship you go for, in my opinion. Obviously you want to get a good one. However, realistically, just get one, make it work, and see the success that you want. Is there anything that you would have changed about the last 3 years that you've actually been in trading or not?
Yes. I wish I listened to my coaches, my mentors, to not do certain things. I had to stick my hand in the fire to find out what was hot instead of just listening, which would have saved me a lot of time, because there would be certain rules, don't do this and don't do that. But I think, it'll be okay. I'll try it, lose money, realise, oh, that's why they told us. I have got to learn things the hard way sometimes, which if I could roll the clock back, it would be to actually stick to everything that I got told 100%. But I come up the other side of it. Now I do everything I was told. And now I've been seeing a success for the last couple of years now, which I'm very grateful for. How about yourself?
To be honest, for me, I don't have any regrets whatsoever. Of course, I could say I wish I started earlier. Realistically, I'm happy I've started when I have. Mm-hmm. If I was going to give anyone advice, get into it as young as possible, because if I had have got into this when I was younger, I know that I would be in a serious position now. Mm-hmm. But realistically, I'm happy with what I've done. Like you say there, listen to your mentors. That's exactly what I've done. I've listened to the mentor, learned the way, and got myself in a perfect situation. Mm-hmm. Not a perfect situation. It's never going to be a perfect situation. Got myself in a position that a year ago I would have been very, very proud of myself, mm-hmm. and I certainly am with the position that I'm in. So there's not much at all that I would change, apart from fuck all. So
your shoes and your vest.
But that's a good way to end it. We'll leave it there. Good speaking to you, big dog.
Thank you very much.